participation. Public participation. Do we have 3 members of the public here this evening? Do you want to wait until your grant comes up and talk about it then, or would you like to talk about it up front?
First, yeah, talk about it up front.
Then I invite you up to the floor, please. You have your name and obviously which representation you have in the community.
Yes. My name is Richard Pickett. I'm the chairman of the Riverside Club, and I'm here to represent the Riverside Club with an application for a grant to further the advancements that we have already made to bring the club into the 21st century. We have got the need for more use of the kitchen, and the kitchen is now being revamped. We are in need of certain supplies in the kitchen, cutlery, and all those sorts of extra pieces which we need to use for hiring the club out. That is the purpose of the application. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, please.
Tim Just from Bower Hill Scouts. We have a grant application in for some camping equipment and some associated assorted elements in support of the camping rig. I won't bore you with the details of exactly what we're asking for because a lot of it's quite specific, but basically it's some toilet facilities for our 6 to 8 year olds so that we can take them camping and they don't have to take a spade with them. And for some specialist hammocks for our older scouts and explorers who prefer to camp in the woods rather than in tents. And it's a lot cheaper equipment as well.
Thank you very much. Hi.
Yeah, I'm Christy Thompson. I am Secretary and Fundraiser for Read Easy. At the moment, we are sort of picking up again after COVID. Things have got a little bit quiet. But we're getting quite a lot of inquiries now. And, we're working really hard to help those people who really haven't been able to read, therefore letting lives be affected. So they're coming to us with a really big encouragement and hope for their future.
Thank you all for attending. We move on now then to apologies.
Timeline.
Thank you. Item number 2, any declarations of interest, please?
So celebrating options around meeting.
Practice club. Culture, ATC.
Thank you. Agenda item number 3, to approve the minutes of the Finance Administration Performance Committee meeting held on the 17th of January. Is there any regarding those minutes? Is happy? Are we voting acceptable? Thank you, Jackie. All in favour? Moving on to item 4, so consider the following. The monthly financial statement is dated to the 31st of January 2022 as item 4.1. That is month 10 of the year. Pages 5 to 6 is to note the financial statement. Anything largest to note. 4.2 is the detailed income and expenditure reports as of 31st January 2022, pages 7 to 14. And that's to note. Is there any questions following that? 4.3 earmark reserves year to date to the 31st of January, pages 15 to 16. Okay. 4.4 is a list of payments on the 31st of January 2022. So this is to approve the list of payments made by direct debit cards and fax payments from the Town Council's core bank account for the period from the 1st of January 2022 to the 31st of January. See attached. And then also to approve the list of payments made by direct debit check and carbon backs from the Lloyds account on the same period. Any questions, or are we happy to review these list of payments? These ones have all been checked by councillors when they come in, so I presume we're all happy with that. So can I have a proposal, please? No? I'll second that. All in favour? Moving on to item 4.5, so this is to note the income received report on pages 21 to 22.
Sorry, can I just go back on agenda item 4.4? You've got a battery thing. Battery thing. So, what are you referring to? The £4,000. Where is that? Sorry, on the income.
Oh, I thought it was the past.
To go back for.
We're on 3.5, so what are we talking about? Income report. It doesn't matter. Exactly.
Is that 4.4?
Thank you. Thank you. It's
That's just like we claim on that. Yeah. This is income. This is an income report. No, your VAT on your income is anything. It would, yeah, this will be back for all the council activity. That's a claim back. Yeah. And also on there, I just want to come up with that and what the brand likes to use.
So if we're all happy, then we've gone back from before we have 4.5, the income received report. Any questions? It's just a note. Any questions on that? Happy with we move on. 4.6 is the bank reconciliation signatories. To note the bank reconciliation for April 2021, June 21, September 21 were approved and signed as approved in February by councillors Price and Are you happy with? Please see that's happened. So the reason for moving on, trying to respond back quickly, is you will notice we have a huge amount of grant applications, and we have a very small pot of money in relation to the amount of applications we have. So we are going to have to be a little bit mindful of having £7,050 and over £23,000 of applications. That's continue on in that. So be mindful of the fact that we do have a huge amount of applications. I'm going to have to be a little bit strict in terms of what is classed as capital costs and costs, because these are two sort of crucial areas where we can actually take on capital is suggest other areas to go to perhaps look at in these grants, to try and allow us to use our money in grants to actually for us as the town council. So if I just go through with a fellow councillor, two second ones, I have run through the fact that I consider to be capital to start off with. This is not to say we're not going to necessarily look at them, but it's to say that perhaps there are other routes to looking at these grants, particularly because we don't have a lot of money sat here.
So, that's a good one, like, on the sheet. So you have one.
So if I start with one that's known identified councils, as I say, not necessarily called out, that's why I want to identify them. So Bower Hills Scout Group, so capital would be things which are physical items we're looking to purchase. So that would come under capital. Really easy would also potentially come under capital, as would the Friends of Sherborne Fields, Transwilts. So those are the ones immediately that would crop up as being potentially other avenues for. Then the other ones to look at are things to do with running costs. And ones I've identified for those would be Group 5, Health Counselling Services, Internet Living Centre Sevington, that meeting space, Wiltshire Music Centre, and Wiltshire Young Carers Service Community First. The other one also, just a quick look at, is also national organisations. So that would be Relate and the Try and Vote Phobia. So those two would also actually have other sources to. Can I have feedback from councils in terms of those ones identified? Right? Well, that would lead us then. So we took those out. You're looking at 750, 1250, 1550. That one's 1300 there, so now it's 1550, 18, 2850, 500 there, so that's already over £3,000 out, about 3,100 and 375 pounds there. 1,200. So it's mounted up quite quickly if we do have to be strict and we don't have to keep it on the ground. No, correct. But you do have to carve up somehow. Which really £3 worth damage to 7,850. So there are unfortunately who would be really not be disappointed.
And is this the last? Well, yeah,
Yes,
my
I very well did manage to carry through £1,600 last, so yeah, it's a pleasant decision to be able to not be able to give everybody everything they want, unfortunately. So, with that in mind, out of the ones I've identified as capital, so that would be the easy one to be just go back to the area board to look at funding from there. That would put us in the position of Bower Scout Group, really easy, Friends of Sherborne Field, and towards. And I'm meant to be filled with them because you guys are sat in the room as well, but it's just a really difficult position to be in, you know, how to carve this up. So how can I actually have permission to ask a question from? Can I just ask on terms of the Bower Hill Scout? See, we're not from town council. Do you have residents from the town council area that are attending?
Yes, it's in the application, the vast majority are actually in London.
And presumably you've also gone to nudge out for funding as well.
Yes, and the area board and secured a grant there for a minibus, which we also need to experience both minibus get.
Should we just straight away, can we just take out perhaps the ones I've identified to be national organisations first? So if we were to get rid of take them from late out and the trypophobia, because the late one was £1,800, the trypophobia is another £1,800. So those two went. Is it really happy that just came to replace the plan?
I just want to say, yeah, that for people who can't get funds at this, it can always go to the arts house charities, which will usually quite happy to give grants to people or things that are in Melkshire and for Melkshire people. Just stress that. But you know, if you want to, I'm sure Miriam will give you the details. I just wanted to say the conversation, but you know, it was not this. And also at the area board, you've got a new bunch of funds. So the next meeting that they have in June, they're likely to be a wee bit more generous than they would be at the end of the year. So make the most of it is my advice.
Should we take up the two national ones to help with? If we could do that, sorry. So that's the trypophobia. Notes. We will get those two out. So, can I have some feedback from you in terms of these capital ones? We've got some feedback in terms of enhanced capital grant to perhaps to a criteria board. I can really sorry, just don't see how such a small pot of money it's
Yeah, so right on.
yes, so capital expenditure, yes. Or we hold those for a second and look at running costs.
The rest of them, seeing what happens.
Yeah. So we look at ones identified as running costs and see if we can remove anything from those sectors that we can put up there. So in terms of running costs, the group 5, so this is so we're going to explain in terms of what running costs. This is to actually the day-to-day running of these groups, and it is actually one of our criteria that we don't give grants for actual running costs of an organisation. So being very strict about it, actually all of these identified running costs we should take out straight away because they don't fit that into our
It just says in the criteria to the council doesn't normally award for running costs unless there are exceptional circumstances that would explain. So in the little column where there's notes, there's 2 where it's for running costs, but they've given an explanation of why.
Yeah.
And I think what the reason that is there is that the council wants to see evidence of sustainability in the future. So just bear that in mind when you're considering.
Thank you. So if we go to the first one identified in terms of group 5, to assist the running costs for our own master bank and general operations. That really is. So that is running costs, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, so the absolute sustainability that people have to be able to not keep coming back from grants all the time to want to keep things going, they need to be sustainable. So if we take group 5, yeah, thank you. We move down to help counselling services, provide the volunteer expenses for one of our councils for 6 months. Again, we're not here to pay for employees, so that can be classed as a cost. Again, what's going to happen is 6 months are up, it's sustainable to be able to continue to run past that point. So I suggest we take that one out. We agree with that? The Independent Living Centre in Sennington, so cleaning costs. Yeah, actually, we need to take that one out. Moving down the list, down to that meeting space. So this is rent, supplies, community, website pages, meetings. Again, that is goals to sustainable and whatnot.
They did explain in their notes that it's just while they get started because they're brand new, so they do anticipate they will build up enough to be able to sustain themselves shortly, but because they knew they got a little bit.
So let's leave that just in here for a start.
Yeah.
Start up, yeah, so yeah, okay, let's give that one a second, the question mark next to that one then. The Wiltshire Music Centre, so funding is requested for our Zero Club project, provides monthly creative sessions for people across Wiltshire with a broad range of learning disabilities. So this is £1,540,000 whole life project. As you hear, the project would not go ahead without the artist stroke workshop leader. Again, our recognitions on why this helped us really. So can I suggest we take that one out, please? Come back to. And then Wiltshire Young Carers Service comes first. So again, there's a lot of notes, so let's have this first. It's to provide respite activities for young carers aged 5 to 19. And in the notes, an element of the funding will go to the staffing, which is required for the marketing, admin, coordination, safeguarding, health and safety, insurance, monitoring, evaluating process. Again, on the sustainability aspect, I don't think we can move that because that is a bit of impact.
At the overall last week, they were awarded a grant, but they were questioning the legality of the 5 to 19s. I don't know what the outcome of that was, so they may have got last week.
So we will bring them perhaps that's not really fitting.
I'm not just finished doing that. That's so my opinion is no account, but
No, sure, absolutely. It takes some further account to sit on funds that really is paying salaries, etc. Yeah, so take that away. So do you now we've taken notes now, yeah.
I need to advise, and this has gone past me, I apologise. Legislation prevents us from funding schools because they are funded from another taxpayer source, central government. So we can't actually legally or lawfully fund anything in school.
So we need to remove the
College. So, briefly, and it's not actually funding the school. It's not funding. It is subsidy. It is allowing children, malnourished children, from private area to take part in outside school activities. It's actually supporting our local children. Otherwise, if they can't afford to actually participate, they will just do nothing. It's all the forest. It's all basically the forest road. Is main catchment area for the Brooklyn School, and they really don't know. They're really stretched, and I know so they really feel that this is a way of helping, specifically helping their children, rather than funding the school itself. It is totally outside.
You can argue as an auditors, but I can tell you the thing. I get where you're coming from, but it's we are educators that are for any education setting is the tax, the funding comes from another source. And it's not funded for the children either.
Right, okay, I know that there's some support where it's going to be voiced by Zoom. But you don't think there's no angle that could make that exception.
I can do what
It's good to say, it is the actual children that we school here, so asking them to be able to go on the trips.
if it's, as Linda says, it is, you know, it isn't something we actually can support to the, we are massively overstretched in terms of the amount of grant applications we've seen, so.
Is there any way where we can suggest it? That's what the PCA's.
So, yeah. Yeah, we'll take anything out, but
It's also. Leave North went off the entirely to what happens to. But we run a school in town advised for about that money. We have got big things, but.
They've got a larger number than I think practically any other school. Or
doing something like if
we
we
are
are
to be section.
they look at other avenues. PTA, etc. So regrettably, I think we need to take that out, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Ruby, how are we doing on our,
So that means, with the current full amounts, you're 3,510 over.
okay. So start to, thank you, it's a little bit
Yeah.
a little bit more manageable because it was quite daunting looking at before. Can I just run back into then these capital cost ones a second? Because again, we need to look at what is truly capital cost here if we are looking to support it very much. So we'll try and shave off. If we're going to give everybody the full amount of grants, it may well be if we look at capital ones and such ones we feel we do want to try and support and then look at how we can carve that money over what we have left. Is that okay with everybody? So if we go to Sue, because that's the one that we would look at. So that's why I haven't taken that out here.
It is kind of running costs.
Let's just go to what we've identified first of all, then just the running costs, also the capital in a second. So personally, I would like to leave Barrow Hill Scout Group in the mix at the moment. I'm not sure what we have actually we can do, but do feel having spent a lot of time in this that can guide they are an important part of our community. So again, from down here, if you know, just see this do that.
What did you decide about this for them?
That's not, well, we're just looking at the ones which are in capital at the moment. So that would be Bower Hill Scout Group, really easy, Mrs. Shenfield Field, and Transworlds. So those are the four immediately that would be looking at as capital and potentially other funding methods. So can I just sort of look at Transworlds a second? So the solar photovoltaic roof panels, that really is, that's a capital cost, plain and simple. There's no argument about that one.
The Transworlds, the solar panels.
So I think I'm going back up this.
Really? Yeah. So I really think that's what we need to take out. Yeah. Because that really is.
Well, no, I think
It's.
It's capital.
and it does say contribution.
It's a very
Yes, or just the £250 off that was flowers. So
Thank you.
the bulk of it is the panels and there's a bit of flowers.
Sorry, I'm a bit confused. If you're taking out the capital ones and we can't give revenue funds, what can we actually?
Well, the rest of them we've identified that we will be doing that's looking at. So I'm not saying we're taking all the capital ones out. I'm just trying to identify, like you just pointed out there, £250 worth was towards planting. Perhaps that's something we can actually look at, maybe supporting the planting side of it, but actually the solar panel system is a capital expense. So I'm completely for doing it, but there are other avenues for them to look at getting that funding from. But we're over £10,000 worth of grants compared with £7,000 worth. You know, it's not, if we want to support some of these which really are the sort of things that we as a town council support, we have to.
Yeah, I'm just not clear about why we're not supporting capital things, because that's the thing to help get the things off the ground. And
understanding, not just changing the costs.
Yeah, I don't think it's not supporting capital costs, it's where an application for capital costs has been made. There's no indication that they've gone to other grant funders. We've always done refer them to the area board, because the area board is grant. Revenue is obviously paying wages, utilities and basic kind of costs. But revenue can also be community groups put on an event and the cost to put on that event. That's something that we would town council has been supporting.
So do I have any support for maybe taking out the element of the solar panel that's suggested?
Yeah, I was just going to say, are there any, do they still do the government grants for solar panels on buildings? Something somewhere.
Business.
I'm sure there are
Yeah.
you know,
Other avenues to explore first.
yeah, because it's 4,200 pounds, so 1950, 4,000 is a lot of money to be looking at to try and fund. So could I suggest we take out £1,700 of that, go back to the 250 towards the flowers?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Then what else? So Mary, what's two over now?
1,800 over.
Okay. Right, so then maybe now we can start looking at what left then in terms of helping us up, and maybe what everybody's going to get from that for one, but perhaps we are going to decision to.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask about, can't we mean one spring training? It's very, very expensive, and you could probably get a landscape gardener or something, because they're not complicated machines. We can buy them off the shelf to use yourself,
Yeah, that's a good point actually.
and you only need the training certificate. I don't know how it works with volunteers. I think it could, yeah, it would be health and safety, wouldn't it? If you're a volunteer and you're a community gig like this, health and safety comes in. I know I've done it with the it's very, very expensive, yeah. To do, usually covered by public liability anyway, but
I wonder if some of our team could help them with that.
Yeah, that's
well, exactly, there's other places where you can go and, you know, I could do it, you know.
Okay, so should we, somebody else for that, maybe is that one we can suggest? Perhaps look at other avenues of
Yeah,
getting.
I think the town council like that would be great, because
Yeah,
you know what, it doesn't take very long.
that's a really good one actually, yeah. Okay, brilliant.
Just clarify, the training is for 3 people, not just one training.
I know, but that's really expensive, 3 people to reach.
I think that one we can go back to them and suggest that perhaps the community team may be able to assist them in maintaining that area. Okay, good, brilliant, good. Thank you. Thanks, Claire, that's a really good point. Right, so we have to start going through our applications now. So if we go to the
So now, if you've taken out holiday, then you are at 1,162.
perfect, so I think that we may not be able to give everybody all they want until now, but seriously supporting what we've got on this list. So if we start off with the 2385 Natural Squadron Committee C. So this is funds to help support costs of Squadron's 60th anniversary in May 2022, and then looking for £500 from ourselves towards a whole project cost of £5,000. Do I have anybody who'd like to speak and pass this?
Yeah, half of it. That's what they're.
I'm not, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't say anything on that.
You're saying you would like to support it.
I keep forgetting that, but I am a fan of the squadron and they do a really good job, and I'd like to help them. But in view of the fact that we're struggling to cover these costs, let's just
I'm Claire from Posters Harvard. Don't you?
Yeah.
Propose it because,
Is everybody else?
I studied the was everything, and I'm a big fan of the agency in the armed forces myself. But looking at this, I would be happy if they took that 500 and gave half to the Scouts, because the Scouts are a worthy cause. I know they're, and you've got it down as capital, but
Well, no, Scouts are 15, so,
good.
so, yes,
Yeah.
that's why it's still that way.
Yeah.
Still
I
looking
mean,
at this.
both of them are supporting the young people
Yeah.
and getting them to engage in other activities than vandalism. And I just think it just help them to learn real good life skills.
Well, should we put down 215 for the moment on BT2?
Yeah.
So half each from Scouts and the EDC. Okay, so we're doing that. So at the moment we're looking at half each on those. Going on to the British Cactus and Succulent Society. Just County Justice Alliance, succulents, tons of them. Funding is for a total cost of the hire of an arch assembly hall, so put on our annual cactus and succulent show. Where else have they gone to whole project cost of 550?
So this is a room hire, right? They asked me for just to cover the hall, and the other costs are, I don't know, the question. It's in the form, as it's stated. How much is the room? The 36728 exactly. So they're asking only for the cost of the hall hire, and they're prepared to pay the other costs of the event.
Okay. Any comments from anybody on?
Any chance of rates for them? This?
No.
Someone will just their balance at year end is 2,502. I'm not sure where else is their money going. Are they not able to fund it themselves based on how much?
I think, if I'm right, Pat will probably clarify this as being, because they also have show as well, so they have trophies and stuff like that. It's actually
So it doesn't spread out.
do judge the specimens and things.
And they sell things to each other and stuff like that, so there is a fair amount of fundraising.
So how do we feel we have to support room hire to make this event happen, or electronic? Well, we would allocate that. But they're asking for £367.20, and we potentially looking at saying 200. So that's, and they have to buy the extra money themselves.
So they
not-
have
we don't physically pay for it.
Yeah. So they would then have to raise extra funds on the day through professionals themselves to cover it. What you said.
Why not 250 then?
Yeah, I'm happy to go to the else goes. Thanks for 250 of that. That's the British License Society. And then moving on then to the Carnival Jubilee Tea, room hire and cash grant for the Royal Jubilee Afternoon Tea Dance on April the 3rd.
All downstairs.
Yes,
So this they are looking for. Yeah. They have got balance 5,700.
I was going to say, what hire I can understand.
The other costs, they've outlined refreshments, decorations, printing, entertainment and prizes.
Might be yeah, no.
How much is the room hire? 216.
Well, it's student union.
And yeah, is it gonna be a free event or is there gonna be?
It's £6 per person, £10 for a couple, £15 for a family.
Okay. Oh, so they want us to fund the whole event, but they're gonna take money on it.
To be honest, I'm reading this and I felt that the actual there shouldn't be an entrance fee.
No, because so this is what I want to clarify.
Quality, yeah, and I just think if you're going to charge, you're excluding certain people.
And I sort of feel they want to fund for the whole lot, that it should be free for everyone to go.
Yeah.
Or, but if that's like, it's not yours, isn't it?
So I think they get more attendance.
Yeah.
And it's open to everyone. It's more fair, isn't it? That's what I meant to say. It's more fair for everyone. And, you know, it's costs quite a bit of money.
It's a lot of money.
And I just feel as if we could be excluding some young people that might want it.
Yeah.
They don't attend. I don't know. It is based on that. If they don't attend that,
Well, one of the discussions with the organiser was that they, in order to make it accessible, they might allow entrants who've gone in the competition to be the royalty to come in free. And it would be, she was trying to find ways to make it as accessible for people as possible. But wanting to make it also special with a free tea and a food event doesn't take a bit of cost to put on.
yeah.
I can understand the event, but I can't understand charging for it and wanting to pay for it, so they don't money out, but it's sort of actual.
Yeah, there's going to have to be some sort of organisation about who comes there, because we're all involved so many people, otherwise we're going to have health and safety problems. And so, you know, there's how you can't just have it open to everybody. I think we'll be able to accommodate the right people in terms of it's never been open before, isn't it? I'm just thinking that for them to get more people, because then they get more exposure as a committee as well.
I also point out, just concentrating in seconds, in terms of the scoring criteria, that's the lowest in terms of our what we would look at. So 20 is called 13. See?
I was just wondering whether they could go to Astor or something like that. As for the sports.
Yes, co-op.
Yeah. So, again, would we look at giving them a small part of the what they've asked for? I would like to comfortable with the charge to get in as well as.
I'm really uncomfortable about them taking a profit out of our.
I think that could be a caveat, whatever you give them, the grant funded to X, but please don't charge.
Yeah,
Admission.
yeah, I would rather that staying here in London, because it's great, but it's free for all.
I was just going to say, could we just fund the venue, but based on them allowing free access? It looks like we've still got the balance that they actually got, that they can afford to get patients.
As you proposed 216 on the right zone. We have it in the review, that should be a free school event.
Just check. Round it up so that they. Right.
That's the idea.
Just go with this effect and just- Right, okay, do you want to explain? Yeah, I guess this is quite interesting.
Just wanted to double check, because it's lockdowns, there hasn't been a carnival, so every year the town council sets aside £2,500. If that was set aside for the financial year we're in, which finishes on the 31st of March, so we've got £2,500 sat in this year's budget. Why don't we offer them all of the money on the proviso that they do not charge entry. Yeah, taking money, so that you forget the 800 from this pot money, take it from the money that was earmarked.
Because they'll be able to, you know, sell their cheese,
Yeah, we
cakes,
can
and everything
support,
in there.
Yeah,
If we do that first, that frees up another 800 there, which means we potentially look maybe on some a native in it, but we also put Gabby's in, and it's a free time.
Yeah.
Yeah, free of charge. Do that. They're not free time. Great. Thanks, Andy. So moving on to Celebrate Publishing, which I have to say is, I think, really exciting. Start up for a new community podcast for the voice of community groups and local businesses, charity organisations, school leaders in the publishing area. So this is purely his startup costs. Would you guys want to?
So that's what it says back in in progress. That's now been confirmed. We've got a bank account, so don't worry about that limitation. Basically, this was something that I was going to start on my own. I got it to the last finance meeting, and it was recommended that I get a committee up together. And it was probably the best thing I've done. So I got some really helpful people on the committee who helped steer it in the right direction. And there's actually a lot more factors than I possibly thought was there, such as insurance and others. So the whole idea about this is to give people an opportunity to listen to people in our town and community groups, local businesses, to be able to talk about what they do, talk about how they can get involved, maybe up their volunteer list, maybe up their donations, also increase the support that they're going to get from residents. So this is a purely online thing at the moment, which consists of, I mean, I don't know how well people know what a podcast is, but the idea is generally it's a recording technology that then goes into editing software, and then it will get edited together to be a sort of 10-minute to 30-minute podcast for people to listen to what community groups do. I'll just give a quick example. I spoke to the Melksham Lions Club today. We were just having a chat about what they do and such. And actually, I thought, how great would that be to sort of allow everyone to hear that conversation we were having, and for hundreds of people to get behind it. Same with food banks, the same with any local community group. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them. But that's the idea behind the scheme.
I just like to say, I think that's a fantastic idea. It's a totally new way of promoting things, voluntary groups, and providing there's a program for promoting it effectively. I would say really is a good idea. So many people benefit from it.
Can I ask a couple of questions on this set? So in terms of sustainability, that's would be a concern. What income are you going to have coming in to potentially be able to pay for this going forward? Because last one is something fantastic, and then it doesn't have the execution.
So the only thing that we need covered in the future would be the possibility of the website being removed and the podcast being broken, in which case we could eventually, when we get enough sort of stigma, we can get the we can do it through advertising through the podcast. That's not necessarily adverts outside of the podcast. That would just be the editing software can provide adverts that we choose that would be appropriate for it, to then get a bit of revenue in that way. We could get some sponsorships from local businesses, especially about advertising their services. I'm sure they would be willing to get behind us on that front. Also, fundraising ideas is something that is already in motion.
Have we also, because the podcast equipment and the laptop are capital intensive, so that's what that potentially potentially for contribution towards grants.
So not at the moment, mainly because we thought we just try Melksham because it's for Melksham people, and unfortunately where it is capital, it's also the equipment that's needed for that to go forward. So that is the start of this, the equipment, unfortunately.
Anybody else with questions?
Without going into all the stuff, basically, when you promote it, is it practical to promote specific content so that instead of everybody who's slightly interested listening to every podcast, then people find out what the content is of a up-and-coming podcast?
So all podcasts have a title description, and generally one is distributed through, basically there's one source which is Anchor, and that distributed in places like Spotify, places like Apple Music, all for free. So that's not got a cost.
So people could see beforehand whether it's something they might be interested in.
Oh yes,
Just listen to it generally.
yeah. So say for example you didn't want to listen to one on Melton Football Club, and you wanted to listen to one that with Melton Community Dining, then you can focus on the community dining one and maybe skip the football club one if you don't want to listen to that. Gives the option.
Don't you need proposals in terms of, actually, guys, thoughts on?
Just quickly tell me what the costs are for, you're asking for that.
So it's £1,000 for podcast equipment, £110 for website, £300 for laptop, and £110 for insurance.
We spent a lot of time, we've had 3 meetings in total with the committee to go away and have the best prices we can possibly find and putting that together.
I do feel we should be able to.
What's the most important item on that list?
So the most important are the podcast equipment and the insurance, because they're things that we need to get it started. So that would be £1,110.
Which is insurance.
£110. Yeah, that's the quote we got back.
Yeah.
And that's for a year's cover.
Yeah.
I think it's because of the equipment and that there could be accidental trips, accidental damages, because we would be going to other people's venues. That's why it was up. So
When do you hope to start, Carl?
as soon as possible, as soon as I get the equipment, I can start recording people and start editing, and then I hope to release it monthly, to then into fortnightly, to then into
As you can.
as often as I can. That's the dream anyway, but obviously a lot of time will go into that.
I just think it's quite exciting to hear good news stories about that. We've got about 350 weeks.
I hope so, but we're trying to be realistic.
Oh, yeah. Just one other thing. So the way you generally operate is by going to organisations, going to their own premises.
It would be, yeah.
So they can, so a group of people venture could actually partake of the podcast.
Yeah.
On their at their base.
So the podcast equipment is based on four pods. So if there's multiple people running the community group, we can interview multiple people at the same time. It just gives that opportunity for the unsung heroes who might want to be involved in the podcast but say very little to be sat there and actually say their piece as well.
If we, so I'm just going to jump a number again, just to get a conversation going in terms of numbers. If we look at half, where does that mean to the room?
In terms of the total, you're doing very well, and you're actually now 255 under. So
What's the program we can already we have into next year, so there's not going to have to spend every penny to buy it, obviously. How does it how does everybody feel about potentially looking at half?
Okay, can we just hold it for a while and see how we get on?
Yeah. So I just want to put a number in, because then to see then how that translates down to pay.
I think half the starting point,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah, so pop 750 in with a question mark and moment.
760.
760.
It's that big.
Yeah. I just don't worry about it. You're going to give you the £10 back. Something, it's going to be, right, so let's put that in there for the moment. Let's move on down to Melksham Community Transport. So £2,400 to continue to subsidise days out trips for local people.
It just says to continue to, so I'm just wondering if the past.
Do you know, Miriam, if we? I suppose it's always one to get that sustainability is that, isn't it, as well? Can't keep on every year giving out these £2,500 cards.
I might be reading this wrong, but it says contribution from passengers, 3,600. The day trip is 2,400, so are they earning more than?
No, I think it's 6,000.
Does it specify which local people?
Just going through.
That's what I know is it's elderly mostly. You don't get that much, like I see.
So, yes, bank accounts, charitable organisation gap. These actions for local people.
Haven't listed what trips and counting their plan.
It says here, many people, so 16 per trip, 75% within town boundary.
That includes some Melksham Val as well.
40% within town boundaries. Total grossing. So the accounts ending March 2021. £43,000. No, I'm very.
It seems like it's ready for the box, they put it into the park.
It was more confusing. In fact, it's total grossing 97,147. Total expenditure 126,639. And year end 43,000.
And how does that work?
Oh no, it doesn't.
No, it's right.
Says they've got no reserve, savings reserves cash, no.
Someone's got their figures very wrong, I mean, it doesn't help us.
Anybody new?
I can start to your previous question about what council's put in before. In last year, they asked 2,400 and council will do half of 1,200 and suggested they go for the area boards and help that being right for the area.
I would suggest that because their figures aren't right, so yes, or if they are right, they certainly shouldn't be asking for the whole.
They should be relying on us each year.
Oh, there's one. And that's the concern is that keep on.
And if they're being advised to go to the area board in the park.
I'm also sort of slightly concerned by these accounts figures as well. I think I'd like some clarity. I think.
Yeah, I would be, for that amount of money, it's
A lot of money. Yeah, people, and that's actually other bits of here which I'd actually like to visit potentially. Like scouts, etc. So does everybody agree that perhaps we ask them to come back to us, but with actually much clearer information, especially around the accounts?
Exactly.
Can I ask a question? Do we know what the actual take up is? How many people would benefit?
Yeah, it says here 16 per trip, 75% within Melksham town boundary.
That's it. So the capacity is 16 per trip.
16 goes. Oh yes, 16 per trip. How many people in total benefit this fund? 16 per a trip.
How many trips?
Exactly. I think we need to ask.
So very clear, how many trips, how many people?
I think we need to go back and get information on those accounts accurately. Have the negotiating boards. How many people are they helping? and how many trips there actually are in here. Instead of just a lot more information than what's currently in that, and as I said, concern is long term. We can't every 12 months be. It's not sustainable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Save 16.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just that I think the reason before when they were asking for bus funding was because due to COVID, they couldn't cram as many people in the minibus, so they were reducing it in numbers, which is why the cost was very down, so we needed support. I don't think they mentioned that this time, but that was the reason last time.
Yes. I do need to go back and ask those questions and ask if
Maybe
we can come back to it. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Right, let's switch through the other ones and we can go back and revisit our upper top end, which we haven't looked at full out before. So really easy, so to provide specialised reading books and additional materials for any adults who's having difficulty reading. I've got this comes through the boxes for me, I know it's a couple of expensive, it is a start up time. Well, actually, no, I think we, the situation we're in, just taking 2,400 out. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, I would also like to go back and revisit the ATC and the scouts as well, once we've got through to the bottom of the list, to see, because actually, so everybody happy if we go with 500, please?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
And if you want to volunteer for reading, please get in touch with me.
Brilliant. Riverside.
How much you've got now, Mary?
You've got 3,400 left.
Brilliant.
So the results without the
Yeah, so I would like to propose that we support Riverside with the redecoration works. Well, what's the kitchen, bottle painting, kitchen equipment? In favour? Yeah. Fabulous, thank you very much. On to Friends of Shenfield Fields.
Yeah.
Well.
Please.
Yeah, right. Trees.
It's the same.
It's very technical.
Basically, what they want to do is to avoid the because a lot of trees die when they're that big anyway. But they want to make a better job of replanting the trees that they did a couple of years ago, which there was a heavy casualty and giving them protection on the protection, yeah, and the dogs, well, yeah, dogs used to run into them and things like that, yeah. So.
Didn't we budget for the cutting trees and stuff?
Oh, this is the shareholder.
Okay.
No painting.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Meeting place, so this is a startup basically, so I would hope this thing's get going and then they'll be able to stand on their own 2 feet on this. So this is a look at rent supplies, printing and website wages maintenance.
Wages there. I also yes, a lot of wages.
So what is,
Well, the problem is like 2,600 together.
on it, not necessarily, but I can read you. So a breakdown, proposal of what.
Should we just say 500? Printing by website.
So wages is 150 of. So the vast majority is actually £100 a month towards mental space, thinking materials, printing, website, wages, maintenance, painting, pastry, that's what done.
It's the group that works out with the art.
Yes. Yeah, just council meeting.
Yeah, the outside.
Yeah.
So
They'll be responsible for inside though.
Sorry.
They'll be responsible for inside.
When there was a fire there, you didn't get some insurance anyway. We did the town council, so you put it right.
Colin?
Yeah, I mean, can we quantify the benefits that it's providing? Or the number of
So there's no other people that were trained in comparison to other places. It's very, it gets very high per person, if you like.
Very, very long.
There's 105 people per week that benefit. Or, I don't know if it's the same people every week.
And how does it work?
They have different groups coming in to use the space, so they facilitate the space. And then there's small community groups that are using it and developing because they've got a space. And there are some groups that have been established, some that are newly forming because they can meet there. And they also do a drop-in session where they have people with their IT and sort of social chat and meet up.
Yes. So we're concluding our second Bereavement Journey course, intend to begin a third one in March, because mental health for those who are participating, there's a real need for bereavement support in the community. Noticing nature workshops they've done, one-to-one help with like basic IT skills, Miriam just said. Also they have been with independent groups, which is the senior group, book club, Rotary, another singing group, individual business owners use space for life events. So they're pretty busy, and big things being wellbeing, socialising, and mental health.
I think it's always good to look at people that benefit.
Yeah, and that's quite high, isn't it? Because we are
Just
getting
need to
footfall through.
We've got money left over there, so I think with wages, that's the only thing that's making me think.
Yeah. So we shouldn't be supporting wage, you know, obviously higher like that.
Can I suggest we round it? The wages part of it is 150. Could we take it down to 1,000? Is that so? You feel comfortable with that proposal?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You've now got 3,600 left.
Right. So we go. So can we just concentrate on that? We're definitely going to start with the 250 towards planters and stuff. Great. Right. Can we then go back up the page then? Can I please propose that on the first two, so the agency and the Bower Hill Scout Group, that we award the full £500 for each ghost? Yeah. Thank you very much. Very good. Then we look again at the Cactus and Succulent Society. We up there up to the full amount. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
So they're hiring these 7 people. They're doing that because there's a good, they need something that.
So how shows there are really big thing actually, which means, yeah, so.
Yes.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Well, Colin, you've got to get into, not get into something to it. That's like. Game on this stuff.
So this is kind of like,
Take my seat. Go
So, right, so, I think then the rest, so where that kind of leaves us now is looking at either we roll the money we have left over into the next budget, next year. And I personally like to suggest maybe look at doing that because we're always tight. And if we're happy with what you've got here, where are we? We're in,
You've got 2,997.
with them, percentages, you can get that started.
yep, happy with that. If everybody else happy with that sort of reduction and taking that up to 4,000.
I would say, because that's a different situation. Half of it's no good. It's got to be really
Before
the full amount so that people get started. And I think it's just got so much value spread over so many areas.
Yeah. How about the posting that's the full amount and then roll
Yeah.
the rest of them to the next? So we'd be happy with that?
Yeah. Well, if you want guest presenter, that's.
Yeah. Honestly, Claire.
So, with the active impact, the captors, I just wonder whether there's an opportunity, because it's not just for action. It's wider. It's an action, but yeah, but relate it's like more people. I'm just thinking of oh yeah, you can have more relating it to town council. It's good to be able to showcase yourself.
Yeah, what attracts, what
Yeah.
attracts them, exactly.
Yeah.
Just did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's usually what's on the issue.
Yeah. Yeah. So can I ask them to, that would then like run through where we are with this, and bring that, just make sure we're happy with this. So I've got the maximum squadron existing 500.
Yeah.
Bower Hill Scout Group 500. Access to Second Society 36720. Celebrating Auction 1520. And down page.
We've got.
I was sorry, yes. Read Easy 500. Riverside Club 600. Friends of Schoenhild 375. That meeting space 1,000. Transworld's 250 towards the flowers and plants. So everybody agreed happy with.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's a really good job.
Yeah.
Left over until sorry.
2,237.80.
Brilliant. So we can roll that into next time around. Maybe it's not true, because we've got some we've asked to come back, so
Yeah.
actually useful to have that there.
If we can do an accrual. Yeah, we can do an accrual, I can, as well, we need council resolution, but that's fine. So if I can have a resolution for those on block, and then a separate resolution suggesting that the £800 for the final Jubilee tea comes out of money the town council had budgeted for the Carnival Committee, but they didn't draw down last year due to the COVID restriction.
Yeah, and that, can you just make sure that it's included, that they're not charging?
And it's no charging, yeah.
Can I just something there? Ask for clarification. If they weren't with that 2,500, would they be getting that full amount if we weren't taking the 800? Would they?
No, they wouldn't have drawn it down because they didn't have a carnival in the summer.
Right, so it wouldn't, it just wouldn't be granted.
Yeah. No,
But
no,
we're-
it's raising the budget.
But we're granting now 800 of that.
Okay, and then money in the budget.
Yes, okay.
It just alleviates the grant, and I think
Yeah.
because the carnival hasn't happened, we should be trying to support any measures they do. So if they can offer free admission to their event and we can support them in promoting it, I'm just thinking the committee would get more exposure. There'll be more people would attend it and actually appreciate what the carnival does. Yeah, so next is in our financial review next year's, this is, yeah. The money that's earmarked for Carnival 2021. And you budgeted for next year, Carnival 2022. And it's on just already part. This is the 2022 Carnival. Yeah. So I think for those grants that you just said in a separate resolutions.
Well, I'm happy to propose. Thank you, Jackie.
You're not you see, you said you were naughty down here, but such a
It is.
So all in favour? Those of you who are meant to put your hands up.
Yes.
The second resolution is to use to, the earmarks grants set aside in this budget.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you.
With the caveat, that don't charge.
Brilliant, thank you, everybody. That's
Working way.
So how many have when we go and get the parts to go and have as well?
We do a lot more parts, parts and